What is up, guys? Cash back again, and we got hit with a ton of new info about Spider-Man 2 this past weekend, as well as new gameplay footage, and with all of this came a ton of cool new details that may have gotten lost in the wave of new info, but don't worry because I got you guys covered, and today we'll go over all of the cool new things coming in Spider-Man 2 that you might have missed. So with that said, let's jump into it. So first up, one of the biggest questions players had about Spider-Man 2 was about the game's length, and we recently learned that the game will clock in at roughly the same amount of hours as the original Spider-Man from 2018, at about 17 hours to complete, and it took about 34.5 hours to platinum that game, and the senior game director Ryan Smith explained that the team really thought about how to make each of the moments a little more epic, or a little deeper, or a little more story integrated. So while the game won't offer a massive 40+ hour story campaign, the time you do spend playing through the main story will feel weighted and impactful. And Smith went on to add, "We want to make sure that there's a story element to everything that you discover in the world. In regards to all of the side missions and activities you'll encounter in this expanded map of New York, so while 17 hours may sound a tad short, I'm sure we'll spend countless hours exploring all of the additions coming in Spider-Man 2. Speaking of exploring, we got to see more gameplay of how traversal has been expanded this time around, with the addition of web wings and the added ability to switch between Spider-Man on the fly in the open world. But we also learned of some of the new features that were added, like the ability to hold on to the web line and perform loop-de-loops, as well as being able to glide on the water instead of just dropping in, allowing players to maintain momentum even across water, which is a major dub addition. We also got confirmation that suit damage will be included, although it apparently will go away once you complete the current mission or crime, but this could change as the build that the creators had access to during play sessions was an older build and not the final game, so fingers crossed for that. But either way, another dope addition to the game. We're also getting new side content that will include the introduction of new villains in this game's universe, as we saw with our first look at Mysterio and his side mission, but you might have missed the possible hints for two smaller villains, like the truck with the Smythe International logo we got during a clip of Peter doing a takedown. And throughout the trailer, we saw a side mission for Peter called Where Have You Been?, which features a fire emblem that's seen throughout the city as a point of interest. And we also saw this emblem on one of the enemies that Peter was straight up blazing with his new mechanical arms, who looks a lot like the new villain Butane, who will be introduced in the upcoming Disney Plus series Spider-Man Freshman Year. So definitely be on the lookout for new enemy factions aside from the introduction of Kraven's hunters throughout the city. And real quick, if you enjoyed the video this far, make sure to drop a like to support the channel and subscribe to catch more Spider-Man 2 news breakdowns and live streams in the future. But jumping back to Spider-Man 2 news, we also learned that gameplay speed will be at least 3 times faster than the previous games, including web crawling, but it's unclear if that also goes for sprint speed, which according to some of the players who got hands-on time with the game, felt about the same as the previous games, but that could be offset by one of the many new upgrades we're getting, which looks to be a super sprint, so only time will tell on that front, but I'll definitely be checking for that. They also showed off some of the new gadgets coming for Peter, like the web rocket, which shoots up and shocks enemies, and the new web grabber that pulls the enemies into one spot, and both can be upgraded as you progress through the story. And this is only what we've been shown so far. And they even upgraded some of Miles' Venom abilities, so he'll be even more OP in this game, but I really applaud the team's creativity when it came to stepping things up for Peter, who not only has new tech upgrades, but also the symbiote suit abilities completely put him over the top, and the fact that you'll be able to use both symbiote powers and the tech upgrades simultaneously is insane, on top of the fact that while wearing the symbiote suit, he'll also go into a kind of rage mode similar to Kratos in God of War, and this man is just going to be insane in this game. The way we'll be able to just dominate crowds of enemies with all of these powers is definitely something I'm hyped to experience, and apparently the enemies in this game are far from pushovers, as many of the players who got to play have stated that they were overwhelmed by enemies and bosses several times throughout their playtime. Speaking of bosses, we also learned that the new parry mechanic that was added will play a key role in boss fights because the bosses are designed to counter many of Peter and Miles' abilities, and parries will give players a way to create openings to deal some quick damage. So it sounds like the boss fights will be a lot more engaging compared to some of the fights from the original game. And to be expected, the game will include mini puzzles for players to solve just like in Spider-Man 2018, but this time we'll see new ones, including ones where we have to sync up both bars using the back buttons, as well as new Spider Bot missions. And while we're getting a ton of new content in this sequel, we'll also see a lot of stuff returning, like the Prowler side missions for Miles, and I'm really hoping Prowler has improved his beat making skills because
what the hell is even that?
But that's everything I got for you guys today. And trust me, we'll be back very soon because we got a ton of new story details as well as more info about how Peter and Miles' powers will work. And I can't wait to dive into all of it. So make sure you're locked in and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. And let me know down below what new feature are you most excited for and has any news disappointed you so far. Let me know down below and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.